man, welcome to F Your Feelings, the greatest podcast to ever exist. Stand by that. We got a fire episode. We got a fire episode, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the clips. We got Jeremiah Watkins.
Just go right in.
You know what I'm saying? We got Decarlo.
What up?
Hey, you back? And this your second time.
I'm back.
Appreciate you pulling back up.
Thank you for having me again.
So it's only two people today because somebody flaked. Somebody flaked, man. And we were just talking about it's hard to, with a podcast, it's hard when somebody flaked. Because it's hard to get book guests. It's hard to get a certain quality of guests. Because we could get anybody on the podcast. You know, I could poke my head out the door right now and say, hey, you want to do a podcast?
There's a dude chilling in his car out front.
Seriously. There's construction workers out there.
Yeah. The people laying pavement, they were talking to me way too long.
I bet they were.
They would love to be interviewed.
Yep.
They would love to be interviewed, bruh. But it's like you trying to have it. I was telling them, like, James Davis checked me on that because he seen somebody on the podcast. He was like, yo, who the fuck?
Wow.
Who the fuck you just had on your podcast, bruh? You're like, hey, bruh, you gotta have a certain, like, criteria or a certain level of comedians to, like, keep your podcast in a certain realm of, like, credibility.
You're doing IMDb meter checks before.
Who is
Wait a second. Okay.
So with that being said, the James Davis should be your insert in when someone cancels.
He should be my insert in when somebody. That's not bad because I do have certain people that's like, yo, if anybody flake, hit me up. But one of my a couple of them, they was on one of them on tour with Matt Rife right now. Jackson McQueen. My homeboy Clayton Thomas, he was filming something today. So there's certain people that's like, yo, if anybody ever flake, you know, you can hit me up. But just so happened, you know, they was gone. And so, but I also was so confident in you too that I said, I'm good. So I don't need no third person.
I wasn't going to come either. Because I was like, what podcast is this? Let me IMDb this podcast.
What do y'all do? I want to know, what do y'all do when y'all have somebody flake on y'all?
So for me, my Coach Vaughn podcast that I had for years, I was a one-man band with it. And part of the reason I was a one-man band with it is because getting guests seemed to be more stressful than I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I could just talk for an hour by myself anyway. But that is a hard part of producing a podcast, is making sure that you have guests and the right guests, someone that, you know, can participate properly on the podcast, know how to talk, know how to keep the conversation going. It's not just sitting here and talking, but engaging and being, you know, it's tough. I feel for you. But for my situation, I definitely was like, yeah, I'm a one-man band this whole thing.
Before you answer your question, my question, Jeremiah, here's the issue with the nigga that flaked today. And he's a nigga. Okay, I want to be very clear. Okay, this is his
white people flake too. No, come on.
No, but I'm
gonna stop you right there.
No, that's true. White people flake too, but this nigga specifically is a nigga. And this is the second week in a row. He flaked on me 2 weeks in a row. See, last week, the nigga told, let me stop, because I'm fucking up. I'm putting more work on my homeboy that be cutting up these clips.
And Justin will be releasing who it is on Patreon.
Hey, straight up. So last week he told me the reason he couldn't come because he had to finish a deadline on a writing assignment. I said to myself, "But nigga, it's a writer's strike. It's a writer's strike.
It's a personal deadline.
And that's what I said. I said he's choosing
to have personal deadlines,
and I had to respect it because I have an employee. I get it. I put personal deadlines on the stuff we doing, so I had to respect it.
Yes.
But it was a part of me thinking, you ain't supposed to be writing shit, okay? Because you damn sure
we know you in the guild.
Yeah, we know you in the guild, and I know me, I know, right? And I'm like, you damn sure ain't supposed to be sending it to no goddamn producer, so who the fuck you writing for, and who established this deadline, other than it was a personal deadline? But I'm thinking, what? Okay, I'll let that slide. He said, well, I can do next week. Okay. And here's the problem with the flake. Hold on. Here's the problem with the flake. He hit me up 10:30 at night the night before. Now, I send a reminder text with all the information asking people to confirm. I send that around 11, 12 in the morning, early afternoon. So if someone say they can't make it, cool. That give me time to get somebody else. But when you hit me up at 10:30 at night, well, now it's difficult to get a quality guest to replace. One of my homeboys couldn't make it. He got somebody else for me. He said, "Hey, I can't make it, but I hit
That's
up."
dope. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I respect that.
Were
Yeah,
they
that's nice.
quality
And
or
it
were
was
they
quality.
bullshit? Okay.
Not only was it quality, it was somebody that I already wanted on the podcast.
Great.
Wonderful.
So he got a great guest for me.
So they were Googleable, everything.
He
Had
Googleable,
credits.
his Pi Star. Well, I was at Pi Star. That might be. I was thinking of like podcast star meter was up. You know.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So anyway,
On the flip side of it, let me say this as a podcast guest.
Go
I've
for it.
had it happen to me on the other end where the person didn't confirm. And this happened several times. And I'm like, this address is like an hour away from where I'm at. If you don't confirm with me, and I've said that, can you please confirm like the day before or whatever that it's still on, blah, blah, blah.
So you were
and they
supposed to be a
never
guest.
confirmed.
You were supposed to-
Yeah.
okay.
And they never confirmed. And it's one of them, situations
black
where
or white though. Come on, a nigga. See, that's what I'm
it's
saying, man.
us. It's us, man.
We gotta cut the shit.
Look,
We gotta
but
cut-
I was like, okay, this happened 2-3 times in a row, and then I saw him outside of either the Improv or Laugh Factory, one of our nights, and he's like, "Oh, I guess you probably heard what I said about you on my podcast." At this point, I was like, "Excuse me? No, do tell.
Yeah, what
do
happened?
tell." Oh, I just have to make sure that I know how to get a definitive no from people because I felt like, you ain't really want to do it and you just, wouldn't. I said, whoa, you said that out loud?
Right.
So you turned, I said, did you include the fact that you never confirmed?
Yeah.
Dude, I've done a Breakfast Club. If the Breakfast Club can confirm, you can confirm. You're an hour away. When you didn't confirm, I assume maybe you, because in the whole setup was like, oh, you could come through I do it Tuesday and Thursday at this time. It was all over the place. So I said, can you be specific?
When you show
and
up,
confirm?
we'll start recording.
Right.
Right,
So
right.
I'm like, I can't operate like that. But then I was put in a position publicly as if I flaked. And I said, well, did you mention a part where I asked you several times to confirm and you didn't? Oh, you forgot that part? Okay. So here's how we're going to do this. You have your definitive no. I will never do your podcast at any level.
You heard
There's
that?
your definitive no.
You heard that?
I felt that. No,
I know.
I was like, oh wow,
My energy's
she's
strong. Did I
never,
scare you? I'm
ever
sorry.
doing
Never,
that.
ever. We got beef forever.
But that's-
Cardi B voice.
That's some true shit. So that was my problem. He flaked twice.
No beef though. Let me just say it's no beef, but I won't do the podcast.
And I don't got no beef with this person. Very talented comedian.
Because he's vegan.
Because he's that's a clue. And find out more on Patreon at Justin Hires. But he
I
flaked
do not want to
twice.
be part of the beef.
He flaked twice. Both times he canceled was last minute. So last night he hit me up. After confirming earlier in the day, he hit me up at 9 o'clock. Right when I'm about to go on stage with the book. See, I hate getting bullshit right before I'm about to go perform.
Of course.
So right before I'm about to step on stage,
Don't look at your phone before you go on stage, just so you know better.
Do you put it in airplane mode before you hit
No.
the stage? Always put it in airplane mode before you
it
go to
will
the
stop
stage.
your recordings.
I've gotten a couple texts right before I go on stage that I did not want to see before I hit
Yeah.
the stage, and it's all like I start putting it
Fucks
in
you
airplane
up.
mode, and it's great. That way, no calls interrupt your recording on your phone.
Although I'm at the point, I've been doing comedy long enough, and I've lived through so many traumas and tragedies. I'm like, whatever you say before I go on stage just might be part of this show. Like,
okay.
This train stops for no one.
Right.
I'll deal with this when I come off, but you don't want to be
This
distracted.
is more an annoyance.
It's
It
an
is
annoyance,
annoying.
and
Yeah.
it's also I record everything. I record all my sets, and it can stop the recording.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me, and I've been more mad about that than anything else. Like, you called in the middle of my set.
Yeah, they have no idea. Yeah,
Jeremiah's
that's
white. You ever had any white people flake?
all. Well, if we're being real,
Right. Let's be real.
it's women.
Oh.
It's not even a race thing. It's just women with podcast bookings have more women comics.
I will say when I started this podcast, I was having more difficulty getting women to come on the podcast than men initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't.
Fine.
Don't look at me. See, this,
But
is,
I
the
haven't-
thing.
I
This
haven't-
is what we don't do.
But I haven't noticed a race thing necessarily of
Okay.
like people flaking, like whether it be white or black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever. Asians show up though. Asians will show up.
Well, I'm black and I'm a woman and I show up and I hate
That's
that
true.
a lot of times as a woman or even as a black person you have to represent the whole gamut of what everyone else does. And I typically don't fall into those stereotypical places, but then just like he start with the woman thing, you look right over me. Well, woman,
What does she have to say
Well,
about
woman.
that? Right? Yeah.
I don't. My resume is clean. I don't have a history
true.
of not showing up. But
That's true.
It took some time for me to get on the podcast when I first moved out here with you. But it was very clear and
Yeah.
concise. And when it happened, it happened.
That's
I was
right.
on time. Everything was popping. You know.
That's right.
So
Hey, I was a late one today. I'll be honest about that.
Yeah,
I was late by
gonna
4
point
minutes
it out.
today. I was late by 4 minutes today.
I was
But
gonna
there
point
was
it out.
construction.
It was construction.
But
Right.
yeah, I do
I know,
hear
right?
that a lot about women comics, not just for podcasts, but also for shows and stuff. And I'm like, I'm available. Call me.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And then you get a taste of my consistency and my talent, my abilities, and then I'm like, all right, well, let's keep this train moving and let me represent in a positive way.
Well, you representing great queen. Okay. Hey, man, Jeremiah, man, stand up on the spot, man. So impressive. Anyone that don't know, check it out on YouTube, the Instagram clips, man. And basically tell people how that started because it helped you really grow your fan base online and helping with your touring, I'm assuming. So
Yeah.
how did that begin?
So, dude, I've been doing that show for almost 13 years now. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just started recording it. I had in my head how I wanted to, like, record it and direct it for years, but I didn't have the equipment or the team around me to be able to produce something that looked and sounded that good. Because the goal was, like, every episode that we put out where it's good enough where it looks almost like a special. Like, every
Yeah.
single episode we want it to look really, really good and sound really good. And just like in the last few years, started, like, pooling resources together with some people who are involved with the show and started shooting it just these last couple of years. And
How many years specifically? Because I'm very interested. Like 3 years, 5 years?
He wants to IMDb
probably
this
about-
situation.
all together, we started shooting it, I think, all together almost like 3 years ago now. Like where like we did like the first one that we did was like a special because we did a Moon Tower Comedy Festival, and that first one was with Shane Gillis, Trevor Wallace,
I love
Akash
Shane.
Singh,
Akash, that's the homie.
and Ian Fidance.
Woo, don't know that person, but the
Yeah.
other
No,
one.
I know Ian.
Oh,
too.
look up Ian
Yeah.
Fidance.
Okay, a beast, huh?
He's
Yeah.
a beast. He's
Now-
a New York beast.
Now,
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and I'm actually going to New York. I'm going to
yeah.
New York in September, so I'm gonna check them out. So okay, so that's how it started. So when you started dropping the clips, you feel like that's when it took it to the next level, or you feel like it was already starting to buzz before you even started doing the visual clips?
It was a popular. We'd been selling out as a live show for years, but as you know, like that can only be contained so much. Like it's cool, like it's great that like people want to come see it live and everything, but it's only staying. The magic is only staying in that room that night.
Yeah.
And I always felt like more people got to see this. Like what is happening? Like this is crazy. Like how quick and you're just showcasing how good really these comics are in the moment. Because if you don't know, the show is it's comedians going up with no prepared material, asking the audience for suggestions, and then creating stand up on the spot based off of what the audience yells out. So it really showcases what a comic can do when they're kind of put into a corner and see how funny they can be right in the moment. And it's really impressive what some comics can pull off.
All right, before I get to another question, I have two, which is how long were you doing this show before it started selling out? So if you was doing it 13 years, how many years before it became popping, at least within the club?
It was so. It's been at a bunch of different venues over those 13 years too. So it's been at the Second City. It's been in Theater Row on Santa Monica Boulevard. It was at 3 clubs. It was at the Improv, and then it's been at the Comedy Store like the last like 5 years or so.
Gotcha.
And the show has been like this over the years. Like some months it sells out right away, and then other months like it's more of an effort. Luckily, the last like when we've been at the store, we've had mostly sellouts like for the last like 5 years, which has been amazing.
Wow.
It's once a month, and it's in the belly room, so it's like an intimate showroom. So
Right.
it's doable if you have a decent lineup to sell it out. But early on, we were giving free beer away to get people there. We were, like trying to just get butts and seats at all because it was just like this little show that could. And then the lineups were, I look back at the flyers and I used to put like 12 comics on it and be like, this is the show to come see.
Right.
But it was like tweaked formats over the years. The sets were a little bit shorter back then, and the show's just kind of evolved format-wise over the years.
But it was always the suggestion, audience suggestion, stand up on the spot. Okay.
Yeah, one of the early iterations of it, the show was so hard. You were only allowed to get one suggestion for a set, and that was so hard because if it wasn't a great suggestion, then you're really trying to dig deep. But now you set the pace of your set. You can ask for as few or as many suggestions as you want.
And
It's
they just
totally
yell them
dependent on the
out, or
comic.
is it like a pre in a bucket, or?
No, it's yelled out like an improv show. Like,
Okay.
like you kind of field it almost like a press conference. Like you're like,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to ask both of y'all, which is like, because this is something I was just talking to my homeboy about this. So my YouTube account just got deleted yesterday.
What?
And I had it up since 2009.
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Bruh,
Why?
they said nudity.
Nudity.
Bruh, I don't post any naked, like I'll talk shit about a girl twerking,
Yeah.
but there's like no legitimate nudity on my YouTube page.
Can you contest it at all?
I did. And then they sent the appeal back this morning saying, no, nigga, it's gone.
Wow.
2000
Did they use the hard ER?
They did. And not only that,
They wrote it out.
they put ER in bold. They
all caps rage.
and underlined it.
Oh, Justin.
Since
Oh my
2000,
God.
and I had videos go viral. I was so early on YouTube, and I even put that in there like, yo, I've been on YouTube since 2009, and all of this shit, they didn't give a fuck. Whoever did my review didn't give a fuck, took down the page. So now,
Wow.
I know, it's so trash, and I'm about to do an In My Feelings episode about it. Y'all make sure y'all check out my
No guest, just Justin.
Just Justin on In My
for an
Feelings.
hour.
In My Feelings is just me.
Wow.
So I know it was like very devastating for me this morning when I saw that shit. So within all of that, I'll talk about that more on my.
And then
in
the
my
cancel. Look, you want me to set up a celebrity
then
boxing match for you and your
and then the
cancel
cancel
guest?
guest. All of that shit happened back to back last night. All that shit happened back to back last night. So even
It's like Justin on his period. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. So here I know seriously.
Fuck your feelings. I'm making my jokes.
Hey, it's called fuck
I'm
your
sorry.
feelings.
Go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's called fuck your feelings. Shit, it's called fuck your feelings. So
You lost everything.
Sorry. I'm so
Welcome back
sorry.
to the podcast.
oh god.
Let's make them cry.
That's crazy. Dude, I'm
about to cry for you, yeah, that's-
my heart literally sank for you when you said that. Though.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, for anybody who you just put so much work and effort
Yeah.
into something like that, for that to be just taken away. And a lot of times the people who do reviews, you don't know if it's AI, you don't know if it's an actual person reviewing it. So you're like, can I get on the phone or can I get on a call with anybody like to rectify this? Is crazy.
And
And
all
a
you-
lot of times, did they, this is a good question, I don't know if you said it, but did they specify specifically
Did they-
exactly
the video.
No.
the
or-
video? That's the thing, because
That's
sometimes
insane.
it's like, well, here's the issue, and it's vague. And
Yeah.
you're like, wait, you got to really,
Yeah.
for me to defend this,
Yeah.
use some more specifics, not just the hard ER. Let me
Yeah.
find out what is actually happening here.
YouTube called me a nigger. No,
Well, this episode just got demonetized.
Hey, my name is not Von Decarlo. It's Tracy Ellis Ross. My name is Tracy Ellis Ross.
why I just got another account banned from fucking from
But
YouTube?
yeah, do not get my stuff. Well, I'm not. I have a YouTube, but YouTube is so vicious. My main account is Instagram, and then everything kind of extends out from there.
So my problem is my Instagram algorithm is so trash. Facebook and YouTube is where I've been building my following because I started doing these reaction videos.
Yeah.
Now, yes, a lot of my videos are sexually suggested videos. But these are videos that I'm already finding online. It's not like
They're already there.
They're already there.
Yeah.
So I can see if I was going out with my camera and I was like, show your titties, like some girls going wild shit and posting that on YouTube, then by all means delete the account. But when it's girls twerking or they're doing something stupid for attention, because that's what a lot of them be doing this shit for attention, and I poke fun at it, and now you're saying, well, that's nudity, and all. It's like, yo, why you not taking down they shit?
Yeah, the original video.
The original video.
Yeah.
So
I have that same issue, and being a woman, I don't. You know my account. Yeah, we're new to each other, but Justin, you know my account. Ain't none of those shenanigans on my page. I block people just for suggestion that I might possibly. You know what I mean? But I'll do, like, I know my drunk Kamala thing that I do.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like that, and some of the other, just like basic stuff. I'm like, well, when I stopped doing that a lot because I noticed that's when my algorithm would get all shaky and people would report. I'm like, wait a minute, it is some women out here where I could see the hemorrhoid hanging out their booty hole.
I've seen that before.
And you're bothering me?
Yeah, ain't nothing like hitting it from the back and you see that hemorrhoid.
Yeah, I'm like, look. But I will say,
What a
the
specific
algorithm
visual.
definitely on my account picks up the most when I post stand-up clips. Most of my views, most of my follows, I got like 30,000 follows in just a couple of weeks off of one. It was the Men Like a Challenge stand-up clip that I put up. And so I'm more proud of that than anything. It's my stand-up is my focus. So, but it's like, to your point, it is some trash out there. Why are you bothering us?
Exactly.
Whatever it is, I be trying to figure out, well, why am I? They started taking away my monetization.
They took away everyone, I think, on Instagram.
Yeah, but this was before they took it away. They just started shutting it down little by little. And I'm like, look, I need my $200. It's paying, my phone bill
Straight
or whatever. That little $200 it means something to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, now that they took it all away from everybody, where's that money? They just keep it now?
Yeah.
Like,
See, people, here's the thing that I was just thinking about. People talking about the strike, right? When it comes to actors. We don't have a union when it comes to social media. So all these influencers, all these comedians, all these entertainers that's posting content, they could literally pay us, and they do, whatever number they want.
These are private companies.
Private companies, bro.
Yep.
So they could just pay us whatever the fuck they want. No matter, you could get 10 million views on something. They're like, that's worth 3 cents. And we can't do shit about it.
you could say no. That's what you could do.
Meaning
you
not
could say
post-
no, thank you. Meaning
Or not hitting that accept button to go into your account.
Oh, you mean like advertisers reaching out where you're posting specifically for advertising, or you mean like
I'm
YouTube
saying
and
YouTube specifically, and like Instagram
and,
doing bonuses. Like they could value your content at whatever price that they want. And we not having a union or anybody to speak up for us, we just have to be like, all right, that video did 5 million views and they gave me $20 for it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, it's like, well, how many ads? How much money did you make off of advertisements? So ads are popping up all throughout my shit. Who knows how much Toyota paid you for
Absolutely,
this or for to be shown on my video, and you may say, all right, but we'll give you $16, we'll give you $100. Meanwhile, Toyota might have paid y'all $200,000, $250,000 or whatever for it to pop up on one of my videos that's popping.
Yeah, and there's really no way to know.
Exactly. You can't
And they're
audit
banking
them.
off the fact that people just want, real artists, the exposure of their material and whatever it is that they're doing, and then the random people that just want attention and got their hemorrhoids hanging out and shit.
Shout out to them hemorrhoids, yo.
They just banking on that. They're banking. Artists have been.
We watch different videos.
Look, I'm trying to be serious. Artists have been exploited for years based on exposure, and y'all like, yeah, hemorrhoids.
In our defense, you brought up hemorrhoids. I just doubled down.
I have a very.
I yes-handed that. That's all I did.
I have a very graceful way about me where I could slide in some ratchet shit when I'm being serious about other stuff.
That was the most eloquent hemorrhoid talk I've ever heard.
It's a special skill.
Yeah.
But no, to your point, I would like to continue, if you don't mind, the conversation about that, because if you look at what's going on as far as the AI stuff in the union, one of the things that I've been thinking about is all of this protection is for the union, and they're on strike and all of that. That's great. What about all the non-union stuff? What about all the digital images that are already out there on social media of myself and all the rest of us? Can they swipe that data and use it for AI? There's so many things happening, not just with the union finding a way to make sure we're protected, but what about the stuff that's already out there? What about the non-union stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I just was listening to a podcast, and it's called The Town. Very good industry podcast. If you want to listen to like an industry podcast, that's a great one to listen to, besides F Your Feelings. But he was saying they had a dude on there that's part of the negotiations for the strike, part of the SAG negotiations. And part of what they're fighting for when it comes to AI is, so let's say it takes 5 days to film an episode, right? Background actors, they want the background actor to come in on Monday, pay them for Monday. The background actor come in, get scanned. They pay them for Monday. They use their digital body Tuesday through Friday in the background, but they would only pay the actor only for Monday, even though their digital replica is being seen Tuesday through Wednesday footage. And so that's part of the reason.
And not just for that, they own it. So they could use it on another project.
That's exactly correct. Exactly correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly
correct.
correct.
So here's my thing. I have another graceful way about me as you get to know me. Yeah. I can see all angles even when it's against me. Right? So I put on different hats, and I my point of view of this, let me start with the bad, quote unquote bad point of view of it. I understand from being a producer of things myself, I understand costs and trying to cut costs and figure out, where can we save money? Yeah. I get that. But then as the artist in me, who there was a point in time in the early 2000s when I was running around New York, needed that background extra work. And I met so many great people on set doing background work. I learned and gained so much experience doing background work. That $200 as it is now, back in my day,
that's your
early
number.
2000s,
it's 200.
75.
She ain't working less than 200.
But back then it was maybe 50. You're there. You're there on set. You're all day. 60 bucks, 50 bucks. But you're there all day. You have craft services. You're meeting other people. I spent a lot of that time writing. So anyway, there's not just the opportunity and learning experience just being there, but sometimes you need that $50.
Yeah.
And translate it to today's money, $200. How dare you take my image as a struggling artist and then just use it forever? And this is just the background actors. What about the lead actors and the support actors? This is everybody. This is all of us.
Oh, it affects everybody for sure.
And for how long? They have to do whatever it is that they're doing to get this under control. I'm 100% for it. They have to get that under control. Yeah. And even when I'm in a position of producing a major something or another, I don't want, even though it may save money, I don't want to save money off the back of the person at the bottom of the food chain trying to live.
So this is what I know for a fact. I'm always gonna stand with the people. However, I get both sides. So for instance, Chat GPT, right? If anyone don't know, you could put in an idea for a script. It literally writes it like that, right? And so the studios are thinking, well, hey, I could put my idea into Chat GPT, or let's say I need new, Game of Thrones episodes or whatever, House of Dragon episodes. I could put this idea into Chat GPT, a script to come out. I don't got to pay Chat GPT nothing, if anything, barely anything. And then I could just go hire 2 writers
rather than a whole room.
rather than the whole room
Yeah.
and come in and they could just do punch-ups on it and tweak it here and there, I done saved myself who knows how much money. So I understand from a fiscal point of view why these producers want to do that, right? But the issue is, one, shit don't have a soul. Meaning,
Yeah.
like, there's gonna be, I feel like there's gonna be something, and I guess that's what the humans are
The
there.
two people that come in,
two
you bring
people-
their soul and put their soul on it. That's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that. Here's the thing.
But they're
to that
selling
point, I
their
don't-
souls for the
Yeah.
two people that are,
But
you know.
people
Yeah.
are going to do it. People
Yeah.
are going to do it.
Well,
But-
that's why you were saying, like, with social media and stuff like that, there's no union. Like, there probably never will be, because anybody around the world can upload anytime they want. And, like, maybe there could be a creator program or something like that that you can graduate to, like a guild that you have to, like, pay your dues and stuff like that. But there's always somebody that's going to be desperate to fill in. Oh, they can't do it? I'll do it for cheaper.
Always.
I'll do it for free. That's what's so
Always.
hard about comedians. Is like, if you
Always.
turn down a gig because the pay isn't good, somebody will come around and be like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
My homeboy just told me a club offered him a gig for the weekend, not even a one-nighter. The weekend offered him $400
To headline?
to headline
To headline?
for the weekend. So
Wait,
so
where's this?
man, up north in the Bay Area somewhat, and so my agent even be telling me, they like, Justin, you be
Yeah.
sick, because I be like, why I'm not on the road? Why I'm not on the road? Do your fucking job. You know, that's what I be wanting to say to these niggas. Do your fucking job. Why I'm not on the
Yeah.
road? But I'm like, let me get my weight up. But at the same time, he like, Justin, a lot of these comedians that you seeing out on the road, they are taking barely any money. So unless you are willing to come down to some
Dang.
Yeah, I've
bullshit
gotten
prices.
some trash offers too, and it's you have to the perspective of it. All right, like what is your personal goal? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to build in this particular area? You're trying to see what your reach is. There's a lot of decision makings going into it besides money, but that's crazy, especially with flights and all of that. It's like
Exactly.
that's the only thing you're getting is $400 to headline a whole weekend. And where are you staying? How are you getting there?
You
Is it
sleeping
a
at the
door
club.
deal? Do you get a door deal on that? It's you. He said you sleep in the club.
Yeah, you sleep
in
at
the
the club.
kitchen. I do the dishes. I'm headlining, but I'll be right back. I gotta do these dishes. It's a mess. But to the point of the soul thing,
Yeah.
as a person who wants to go to the movies or watch a TV series or whatever, if we the people say, hey, if this is AI generated, I don't want to watch this mediocre trash that doesn't have a soul, then that'll stop the madness.
That's who wrote.
It's the people.
That's who wrote How High 2. It had to be AI.
I cannot
Now,
with
have you seen it?
right now.
it was
I'm
terrible.
gonna stop making points. I'm just gonna stop trying to make points. Was it hemorrhoids in it?
They showed him twice. So that goes to my point. This is what I just said to one of my homeboys. One of my homeboys, I was like, who knows what scripts AI have already written and we just don't know about it. So I'm like, the studios, they're really fighting for this, which I understand for financial purposes why they're trying to fight for it. They have to find some type of happy medium, but I see why they're fighting so hard to keep AI, because they're like, yo, we could save a lot of money. But I'm also like, well, have they already used it, saw that the shit work,
Oh, and that's why they're pushing so hard?
and that's why they pushing so hard?
Maybe.
So I would personally just would love to know, like, okay, if that did happen already, which episodes of TV were already written by AI?
That's a great question.
to see if I could tell.
We need some hackers
We need some hackers.
to put out that list.
Straight up. And also the same one that put out, who that nigga that was fucking them kids on the islands? Who them? What that
Wait,
list that?
what?
You know that dude that had the rich people island?
Oh,
Epstein?
Epstein.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
We need that list.
White.
White. Y'all fuck up too.
Douglas.
See, we have issues too.
That Epstein list still need to come out, and we need to know the list of any shows, movies, or TV shows that
Yeah.
have already been produced by AI. Because then us as consumers can go back and be like, oh, that shit was trash. Or we can look at it and be like, hey, that was pretty fire, and now we know what we up against.
Yeah.
I'd rather just
be
go
scary.
with knowing it's going to be mediocre trash because there's no soul in it. I don't want to dig deep. I want to just know that moving forward as an audience member of some things and as an artist in others. I'm not with it. But as a producer,
And you know,
maybe.
so this is what I was about to get to, and then I'm glad we talked about all that, which is you found your thing, which is stand up on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And when my YouTube account got deleted, I was like, damn, what's my thing? Because I used to do sketches early. I'm talking about early. I was going viral. My shit used to be on. It went viral on YouTube, but then World Star. That's how I found out what World Star Hip Hop was. My homeboy hit me. I was like, "Hey man, your video on World Star Hip Hop." I said, "What the fuck is World Star Hip Hop?" He was like, "Oh man, it's a site, man. They put a bunch of videos." That's 2009.
Yeah.
Then I was doing these BET hip hop cypher spoofs. Right, I was like I was playing Kendrick Lamar. My homeboy would play Drake and Waka Flocka. And those was going virals again. So I'm like, so I did that. And my homeboy was just telling me today, he was like, my homeboy Lee, he was like, hey, well, also don't forget what kind of got you popping. Maybe you don't got to do sketches. So here's my issue is what I'm saying. And this is what I'm trying to figure out. Do you, Von, specifically ever try to figure out, like, what's my shtick? Like, social media persona that's going to really...
No.
Okay.
I could tell you right now, no. I believe wholeheartedly that authenticity sells. So whatever it is that I am, I'm not going to try to... There's a thin line between strategically planning something out and then watching that thin line where you become inauthentic. So I'm very careful with that. I feel very strongly that if I think it's funny, other people will think it's funny. Even some of the skitty type things that I do, I don't feel like that's my thing. And I'm not trying to do anything with it. When I first started doing the Drunk Kamala thing and even Ice Spice Mom, those are, I just like doing fun. If it pops in my head as funny, I'm just gonna jump out there and do it because I do have acting skills and it's fun for me. But I'm not like, oh, this has to go viral and this is gonna be my thing. I'm actually like, ooh, when people see me at shows, on my stand-up shows, and they're like, oh, Drunk Kamala, I'm like, it's almost cringy to me. Because I don't feel like this is my thing. I feel like I have a lot of things, but everything that I'm doing, at the end of the day, I'm a stand-up comedian. Mm-hmm. And that's the puzzle that I'm going to be putting together for the rest of my life on stage, is that material. That's where I am with everything that I do. So everything that I do is geared towards that. And if it's not something that I feel is going to enhance that, I may still do it if it's fun for me, but I'm not trying to do anything with any of it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm just authentically being me. And like I said earlier, I don't know if this was before or after we start rolling, what gets the most attention on my Instagram account is my stand-up clips. Yeah. And that's fine and dandy with me, but that didn't make me go, oh, I'm just going to not do anything else. I'm not going to do any commentating on basketball. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do anything else, because all of that is fun for me when it's fun for me.
What's your thoughts on that?
I've seen people have success in both ways, where they get hyper specific and they do the one thing.
That's probably the best way to go.
Well, because that's someone like Josh Nasser, right? You know who Josh Nasser is? Who, he found what his thing was, what his shtick was, which is like, I'm going to drive up next to strangers in their cars or people standing on the street. I'm going to say something witty or I'm going to give them a very cool, funny compliment or something. And it took off. And so now he's like hyper focusing on that, but it builds up his fan base.
Isn't at him. This isn't at him, or people who do hyper focus.
I think that's great.
I'm not taking shots. I'm not taking shots. I want no smoke. For me personally, it cringes me to have I almost feel like I'm becoming a hack of myself if I do that. So if
you do too much of the...
No, if it's like...
yeah, like if you continue to do Drunk Kamala every day and really lean into it.
I get on my own nerves. I'm like, ugh, what are you doing? It cringes me.
Definitely lean into the Ice Spice Mama.
I love Ice Spice Mama. And that came up authentically in my head too.
But
you
if
know,
people are coming to see you from that, I'm just asking. If like let's say you said that you sometimes cringe when somebody says drunk Kamala, like if they come to a stand up show, right? That got them to the stand up show, right?
that's great. Yeah. Oh,
so
I'm sorry,
you're good. You're good.
Look at that. She hitting people now.
You want to fight? Like,
So if it's getting them there, and you said ultimately the stand up is what you want people to focus on. Isn't it doing what you want it to? Because
Yes.
and then when they see that you're an awesome stand-up, that they're leaving with, oh, that's a hilarious stand-up who happens to do this character.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. That's why I said I don't think it's anything wrong with just hyper focusing on that. There's people, if you could take it to TV, right? Who's a great example? Tracy Morgan,
Yeah.
30 Rock.
Oh, Tracy Morgan.
When people would come see Tracy Morgan at
I'm
Caroline's on Broadway,
Tracy.
during
I'm
the,
hilarious. My bad. Go
I should have
ahead.
picked somebody that nobody.
No, you hilarious too, girl. I'm pregnant.
I'm a nut on your shower curtain.
Yeah.
So anyway,
He's a wild one.
I like hemorrhoids. So anyway,
He does. I lick him. All right.
there were definitely people coming to see Tracy Morgan, for instance, headlining at Caroline's on Broadway. That was like, ooh, 30 Rock, and then they got a taste of Tracy. And it was a whole nother thing, right? So nothing wrong with that. And if you're translating that now to social media, people trying to find their one thing. Again, I'm indifferent about it. Me just hyper focusing just on one thing makes me cringe because I feel like it makes me feel inauthentic. I do it when I think it's funny. And as Drunk Kamala, as a great example, I'm very careful with what I select as well. If I find something that I think is funny, I'll do it. Like if she's slurring her words or something in something or rambling too much, I'll grab that. But if she's talking about something that I feel like is too much of a sensitive subject, I won't do it. But I feel like if I'm like, oh, I'm so hyper focused and this is what's going to make me a thing, then I'll start to not care. I'll be irresponsible. I'll grab anything like, oh, I got to do a post today, so I have to do that. So it's a thin line between authentic and inauthentic with that for me. And I don't want to, I'm hyper focused on my stand-up. Everything else is just an extension of that and abilities that I have.
Right.
But if I'm going to hyper focus on anything, it's going to be the stand-up.
And see, that's what I feel like I need to probably do also. But here's the gift of what yours is, which is your stand up on the spot. I feel like that is your thing, or that's your product that people love about you or coming to you, right? Before even your podcast, right? It was stand because you've been doing that longer than your podcast, right?
Yeah. Well, one of my skill sets as a comic has always been riffing and improvising and being in the moment. So that's why I tailored that show to showcasing comics who can do the same thing. And then also I'm joining them on stage and showcasing that we can riff together and we can build something together, like when a suggestion is shouted out. So yeah, it's something that I definitely like tailored over the years, where I'm like, how do I showcase this particular skill that I have to an audience and make it like digestible and where people like look forward to watching it like from episode to episode.
And that's perfect because that if your thing, you're hyper focused and your thing that became your thing is stand up and you're a stand up comic.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know what I mean? That's win-win.
But dude, what's your goal? Like, do you want to act? Like, do you want to have a TV show, or are you cool with just doing podcasts and touring?
I mean, I definitely want to act more. I've done like indie films and different TV stuff over the years and stuff like that. But on a bigger scale, I would love to do more like feature-length films and stuff like that. And I want to be on a sketch show, to be honest. Like I've done sketches for years, but like I want to, whether it's my sketch show or somebody else's sketch show, like, so like I've got like, I like, as far as like I go, like I have a lot of plates that are always kind of spinning, and I have a lot of interests and stuff like that. But I want to be able to always tour with stand up. But a sketch show is something that I definitely would love to do.
Yeah, me too. And that's what I was saying on one of my clips that we posted today. Like, because I do excel in sketches, and that's how
You're funny.
I
mean, that's the original way that I saw you. Through sketches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
And so that's something I want to do, but now I'm at a point where it's like, do I want to? I hate to say waste them, but it's like, do I want to do them on Instagram, or do I want to do them longer form on YouTube? And my thing is also, I'm in a position where I can get a meeting with Netflix and Max and Hulu. So it's like, do I put them on YouTube, or do I say, yo, I know the most talented comedians that's not on TV right now. Mm-hmm. Just give me some bread, or I'll go shoot something and shoot a sketch show and then get it to them. So that'd be my dilemma. Most of the people that's like, just do it on your own, do it on your own, do it on your own. It's like, yeah, y'all have to do it on your own. Like, y'all don't even have the option to go get a meeting with Max or get a meeting with Amazon. But I'm in a position where I can get those meetings.
Yeah, so get the meetings and explore those options and see then make your decision.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make the decision without exploring every single one of those avenues and looking at what is the best route, and then going with whatever. And if the best route is not Netflix, don't do Netflix. But if it is, do that.
Right.
But I feel like it sounds like you haven't fully explored the options.
That's true.
So that you have the answer will come once you ask all the questions to the powers that be in those areas.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I would love nothing more than to do a sketch show also.
Yep.
You know, I haven't done it. And so that's why even when my account got deleted officially this morning,
R.I.P.
I know, right? I was like,
Moment of
okay.
silence.
I was like, let me kind of take a step back and really see what my strengths are. And I hit up my homeboys to be like, let me know what my blind spots are, so I can then adjust and pivot accurately to make sure that whatever the next move is the best move.
It's great to have a third eye on thing, Justin, but honestly, look within. The answer is always inside of you. And that's maybe that's gonna be eventually the thing that catapults me, or maybe it's the thing that'll hold me back. I don't know. But I truly look within, and it's great to have other people third eye and thoughts on things, but nobody has the answer but you. So my question to you is, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And then let the answers unfold from there.
The problem be when you don't know. It's almost like, damn, I could do this. It's almost like you choose your.
Yeah, I have a lot of talents and abilities, and sometimes I feel like that's the problem. Like, I can't hyper focus on one thing because I could do too much. You know, pat on back. But
I feel the same.
But when I sit still and I say, but what do you want? What makes you feel the most alive? What makes you feel like you could do it forever? What makes you feel? What makes you go, I'll do this. I want my worth and I want my check.
$200.
What will I do because I want my $200.
She ain't playing about that $200.
I'm really, really good at acting. I'm trained. I sketches. I could be funny. I could be dramatic. I have a wide range. But sometimes when I get a script, I go, oh, okay, let me sit down. You know, I don't have.
That's so funny you say that. I do nowadays have a visceral reaction to and I know other people would kill to have auditions.
Right.
And when I get an audition from my agents, I'm like, I gotta learn this shit. And only because maybe if I was booking more shit, but I think a part of it is like, I'm like, fuck, I done already did this. Now I gotta jump through a hoop to prove to somebody I'm good enough.
Right.
And it's like,
But it's not at your love for acting. Right? It's at the business. You have to identify where these emotions are coming from.
Yeah.
There's a angst, whether it's stand-up or acting or anything, that comes with the business. And then you have to look at, do I have an angst when it comes to the performance and the art of it?
Yeah.
It sounds like yours is probably coming from the business.
Yeah.
With me, I feel like
I would
stand-up
agree.
is where I feel the most free. Acting, I like it when I like it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, especially with dramatic acting, there's you have to process your way into a character and process your way out of. You're doing a lot of mental work that you have to be careful with, especially with drama.
Yeah.
Especially with those darker characters. A lot of people don't even understand that you also have to process your way out of that mentality and those emotions and stuff. So for me, acting is something that I can love sporadically, whereas stand-up is something that I've never stopped loving the process of in every aspect.
Hey, this is something that I wanted to ask y'all because I just saw you featured for Ali Sadiq, right? And I've been seeing a lot of people's specials recently. And I was just talking to one of my homeboys, and he was like, yo, I was watching Earthquake special, and he had a joke where he just kept hitting them. And it was like, ah. And I said, I respect that. I said, I feel that. I said, but I almost feel like stand-up now. I said, look at Ali Sadiq special. Look at Gerard's Rothaniel special, which, you know, won an Emmy or whatever. Which that don't matter that it won an Emmy. But I'm just saying, kind of look at these specials also. And I almost feel like stand-up is getting to a place where it's like, I don't know if it's like a slower pace or if it's more storytelling or I don't. Do y'all see that? Do y'all feel like it's evolving into like back in the day it was like the Def Jam era and like at least for black comics and like every joke had to hit and even the white comics they were like you need to get a laugh every 7 seconds or 5 seconds and I feel like that's not necessarily the case anymore. But how do y'all feel about that when it comes to like is there evolution when it's coming to comedy?
I think podcasting has affected stand-up in a way where the audiences will give you a little bit more time to go on that ride because they've been conditioned to listen to hour-long podcasts of their favorite comics every week. So I think that's the only difference of why we're not seeing as much like it's just a very different style. Like stylistically, you can watch somebody like who's trying to like I remember like even like what I do like high energy like a lot of physicality. I would take that to alt rooms sometimes. This is years ago, and it wouldn't do well because they're like, this guy's trying too hard. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm putting on a show. I'm like,
right.
I'm performing for you guys right now. But they appreciated people who were just slower paced and more just taking their time and throwing maybe some pop culture references in here or there. And it was just like a completely different thing. So I think it's constantly shifting and partially because of things like podcasting and people wanting to see that longer form, like slow roll.
I'm going to go back to authenticity on this. It is constantly shifting as everything does in the industry and in our world. But if you, as a comic, try to keep shifting with what's going on, you will never find your voice. You brought up Ali Sadiq, great example. But Ali bin Ali, he OG, he been around a long time.
Yeah.
Ali is a phenomenal storyteller. But he ain't just start being a phenomenal storyteller just now because the industry decided they wanted a slower pace. Ali has been doing Ali for a very long time, and he has stuck to the authenticity of who he is on stage.
And everybody else caught up.
Whether it was, oh, we need a fast-paced this, it's like, look, for me personally, Von Decarlo, I'm not going to adjust for every audience because every audience is not my audience, right?
Yeah, that's
so
a fact.
if you're trying to adjust constantly, how are you going to know who you are on stage? The greats that we take a look at and go, they're great, it's usually because regardless of what was going on in the industry, they were their authentic selves on stage. They found their voice and they said, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. Now, if I'm good for this audience, great. If I'm not, that's great too. But I'm not going to shift because you said so. It's my job as a stand-up comedian to bring you to my energy, not the other way around.
Yeah. I agree with all that y'all just said. My homeboy just telling me this morning when I told him about the YouTube that got deleted. I know, right?
Listen, Justin, fuck your feelings.
It's so fresh. It's so fresh.
It's so fresh, yo.
There's still salt in the wound.
Yeah. It sure is. You know that
Somebody get him a blanket.
ain't it like a white chick on that salt bottle or something.
A salt bottle.
Yeah, on that salt.
Oh, the Morton's?
Morton's, isn't it a
Is
little
it
white
Morton's
chick?
salt? Yeah, she is a little girl with an umbrella.
Yeah. I feel like that bitch is fucking pouring this salt here right now with an umbrella.
Like, where's he going with this? Why are we
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about white women on salt?
Yeah.
Your shifts be confusing me.
Not to be confused with assault. This isn't the Jonathan Major special. No, but my bad. This is what I was getting to. He was talking about, bruh, you just gotta be authentic. You just gotta be authentic. So here's when it comes to authenticity. And I didn't realize this was an issue of mine. I used to pride myself on saying I don't care what people think. But I do care what people think. And I'm just not realizing this about myself. Meaning, there's a fear of mine that if I am truly my authentic self, people won't like me. People go be like, he too aggressive. He too vulgar. He too in your face. He be saying some disrespectful shit. So people get it a tad when I do my reaction videos, but it's still like a somewhat like watered down version. Like it's like I'm gonna say some disrespectful shit, but it ain't really, I'm like.
So here's the thing, Justin, and I deal with being misunderstood in that aspect a lot of times. I feel like, yes, we do care. We want people to like us, et cetera, et cetera. But when I say authentic, I don't mean
be an asshole.
Don't be responsible with your words. Just let anything vomit out of your mouth and not be responsible with your words. But that comes with maturity. I've gotten to a certain place in my life where it's like, okay, what is the authentic Vaughn?
I'm listening.
Without being disrespectful of other people, because I'm very opinionated. And I feel like my opinion is just as valid as anyone else's. But how can I deliver it in a way where I'm not necessarily insulting everybody? Because you don't have to insult people to be funny. You don't have to shut down someone else's point of view to make yours valid. You don't have to do those things. So you can be your authentic self with and be also responsible and careful with who you want to be as a person. You know what I mean? You know who I feel like does that phenomenally, can I say, very well? You know who does that very well on stage is Tony Baker.
Yeah, I told him that. He's
Tony
great at that.
is very
One of my
authentic.
favorites.
He's very
Yeah.
funny, but he's so human. He's so human, and he can have his opinion and not shut down everyone else as a human being.
Yeah, and not sound angry. That's what I told him. I did his podcast, the Daddy Issues podcast, and I said, I commended him. I said, you're able to say your gripes and your frustrations in life and with people, and it doesn't come across like you're angry or you're bitter. It's just like, man, this is pissing me off.
Right.
And I don't know how much is that is just his voice also.
It's robust.
Yeah, like that. Why he's able to kind of get away with that. And I feel like I'm a terrier, fucking small, loud, high pitched.
Right. I've had those same thoughts. It's especially as a woman. I'm always saying something always happens. But I think it's just his demeanor. Tony's Tony. Justin is Justin, Vaughn's Vaughn. You know what I mean? It's who are you?
But who's
and your
Jeremiah? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Let's get into this. We'll be right back after this message from
I
our...
want to explore this mustache. There's there's a lot behind this mustache
I
of
know.
yours.
This is temporary, don't worry.
No,
The last time I had ironically, you brought up Ali. The one of the last times I had a mustache like this, I played a cop in one of his pilots that he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
what pilot was that?
I think it was like a Comedy Central pilot or something like that.
What, was it stand up or was it like acting? Like not like a sketch, or was it like a series? Or
I think it was a series. As far, I mean, I never saw the finished product, so I don't really know.
you know what I was thinking? This completely. How can we get off of me? No, I'm joking. But something that I really was thinking about was they started to do these fast channels or something, and it basically
Fast channels?
Yeah, I think fast channels is something almost as if everyone can have their own channel. Instagram kind of started playing with. I don't know if you've been seeing, like, I had got a notification on my IG, like, you could create a channel, and it's basically, I think they're going to start popping up on, like, Roku and these things.
Oh, the broadcast channel thing. I was wondering what that was.
But it's like anybody can have their own channel, basically. And it's like your content is playing on a loop 24/7. So instead of someone turning to TBS, they could turn to the Jeremiah channel, or they could turn
But
to
isn't
Vine.
that what your page already is?
But it's not
essentially?
kinda. But your shit not on a loop. Like
yeah,
so,
it's not automatically feeding into other things.
right.
So it's a way for people to go to something and be even more mindless, essentially.
Right.
So
Holy
like basically how
shoot.
Netflix is like, are you still
Damn.
watching? They'll only say that after they've fed you about 5 or 6 episodes in a row,
Oh my
because just to
God.
make sure that you're still engaging. But that's why, if you've noticed in the last 5-10 years with Netflix, it used to take a while where you could make a decision if you wanted to keep watching.
Yep.
It will go right into the next episode because it doesn't want to lose you, and then you're like, I guess I could watch one more episode.
Yep.
And then they got you.
They got you.
Yeah, I binge watched
Exactly.
Young Rock.
Oh.
I love The Rock, and
yeah.
I'm old school WWF before it was WWE. But I was like, how did I get here? How did
Yeah.
I'm season what?
Yeah.
What episode? How did I get here all night? My TV,
Well-
I usually don't turn my TV on for that reason.
Well, I was gonna say, well, you made
I
it
go
to the
crazy.
end because it got canceled. But
I know.
I know.
It's
I
usually
heard it's a
the
great
stuff
show,
that-
though. Everyone says
it
it's a
was
great show.
phenomenal. Why am I trying to say phenomenal today? That's
but the point that I was gonna get to is
my word.
I feel
I
like
know it's like Trump over here. Isn't this phenomenal?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just phenomenal.
Listen, I've watched a lot of television in my time.
I can't
Young
stop.
Rock is phenomenal, tremendous.
yeah, that's good. I was gonna say they need to put all pilots that's never been seen before on one of them fast channels.
Yo, that would be amazing. Cause then honestly, it's kind of like with TikTok how they breathe air back in old songs.
Exactly.
Dude, if there's a pilot, the people are like, why didn't this get made?
Exactly.
Let the people decide
Yeah.
rather than it just being shelved and it going nowhere. Dude, that's a brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea. Insert.
Brilliant.
Dude,
Dude, a Netflix
Let me
series
do
of
an
just
insert on that.
pilots.
Yeah.
And you decide.
And
Bro.
You get it.
Come
You
on.
see
I
it.
love
Come
it.
on.
I love it. Insert that the people who made those pilots get paid.
Not only that, if I pitch it and it get picked up, you got my word. You're producer.
Let's go.
I got you on there.
Let's go. That'd be so
Vine,
great.
I
want to do something on. You gotta do something on.
I-
I can AI generate the word phenomenal over and
Yeah.
over in a loop.
My
and
acting is phenomenal.
My acting is phenomenal.
We'll find something. We'll find something for you.
I'll be on time.
That's right. That's right. We'll,
I confirm.
She has the call sheet.
we'll get you in.
I do dishes and catering.
I'm trying to see if there was any other. This is okay. Okay. Before we get out, I want to ask you because you shot your own special, Jeremiah. I'm speaking of, and I'm about to shoot my first one in September up in New York, and I wanted to know what challenges and or lessons did you learn from putting out an independent special that you could put insight on for everybody that's thinking about it.
I would say, well, what I would say about for anybody who's thinking about putting out an independent special, what are you wanting out of that experience before you even think about releasing it? Because with YouTube, anyone can upload a special, literally anyone. So,
And they are.
and they are a lot of people are. So it's what are you trying to get out of it even before, like that's what I had to really focus on before I released it. And one of mine is because I spin so many plates, I wanted a piece of work out there where people can go and check out a long form piece of my stand-up. Because I put out the hour, some people are now doing like more like the 20 to 30 minute range. Like it varies because, and you can even see, like I've looked at the analytics and everything. For the most part, like as far as like when people are watching the hour, they're watching 15 to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Of it. Like I've looked at
The retention.
the retention
Yep.
and everything. So it's more like I wanted a piece out there. If you're like, YouTube is so weird, as Justin knows. That
Hey, that was a drive-by shot. I'm over here minding my goddamn business.
took a shot for no reason.
Fuck your feelings.
Just,
You got me.
Just bow.
Keep
Just
going.
bow. You need a bulletproof vest around Jeremiah. You ain't even see it coming.
God, it got me good. God damn it, Tobias. I'm listening. We listening.
Basically, what are you wanting out of it? Because the algorithm may or may not pick it up. Like, so technically, my special, the algorithm did not pick up my special. Now, I'm still proud that I put it out. It's right around, like, it's been out for 3-4 months. It's at like 147,000 views.
Yeah, that's
right?
solid.
That's like a solid amount of views.
And have you chopped it up for shorter clips for social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've done all that. And some of them have taken off a little bit on social media here and there. But what I'll say is sometimes even when you do all the right things, the algorithm doesn't pick something up. So you have to know that there is that risk going into it. And also, a lot of times, like, if you've got 100 subscribers on a YouTube channel, it's probably not the right move to put out an hour that you've been working on for years and years. This is like, when I put this out, I had like 85 to 90,000 some subscribers on my YouTube. And that's like a healthy amount of numbers to justify me risking putting that out.
Yeah.
And then when I put it out, I called in so many favors to appear on podcasts to help push it, because that's really where you're going to get organic views, is doing somebody else's podcast and then being like, check out my special. Like, watch my special, Daddy, on YouTube after you check out this podcast right now.
That's
you're
right.
You're already on YouTube. Well, we don't know where this podcast is living currently because Dustin's channel is in limbo, but we'll see.
This one still is up. But
I can tell you where it's not. On Justin's YouTube.
It ain't on the Justin Hires TV YouTube. That's the damn show. It's on your Fuck Your Feelings page.
So it depends on what you're wanting out of it. That's really the only thing that I would recommend to people, like, because some people, they don't have the following on YouTube. They just want to chop up the clips and hope that some of those clips pop off and get them more followers and notoriety on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So it just really depends on what you're wanting out of it, because if you've been working on the material like you have been for years, like, that's precious. You don't want to just release that to release it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's some people that are like, no, that'll motivate you to work on the next one. So if you're ready, then freaking do it.
I think that's a great point to the overall point of everything that we talked about today, and just knowing what you want out of it, because it will drive you crazy trying to figure out, well, what is the right thing that's going to make me pop? And you'll go crazy if you just stick to who you are and what your goals are. I feel like eventually you'll find what it is that you are and just stick to what you want and your authentic self.
Yeah. I think that's great. You just gave me definitely something to think about, because I at least had 37,000 on his YouTube. Now I got nothing.
Well, now is the time where you shoot it, and that's when you hit up some of those companies that other people might not have relationships with, and you're shooting it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
deliver them the finished product and be like, do you have a home for this?
Yeah.
Like, that's when you call in the favors on that side of things. Like, can this maybe live on an Amazon or a Netflix or one of the other ones?
That's the plan. So my plan is to shoot it, try to license it first to one of those platforms, and if they say no, then take it, put it on YouTube and chop up the clips and just try to build a following so I could use that material. Not that material, but use any following I get to then help my tour.
Yeah, get asses in seats.
Yeah.
That's a great ultimate goal for me.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, it's great to have a lot of followers, but does it translate into people that want to come see me do my live show, do live stand-up comedy? Is that translating? And that's why for my clips, when my stand-up gets the most attention, that's exciting for me, because I feel like that's what these are the people that are going to come see me, hopefully.
Yeah, no, they will.
You know what I mean? But yeah, everything happens for a reason, Justin. Let me get all mommy and spiritual on you. It's okay, booby. It's okay. Somebody get him a blanket and a pacifier. It's going to be okay.
Question for you. How active was your solo channel before it got, like...
I started getting back active on it. So it wasn't when I was filming, TV shows that I was doing. but it started back recently. Because I started posting the reaction videos that I was doing was
Did
quick.
you go
I
on
put
a
'em on-
hiatus at any point for a long period of time?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, for
so
sure.
can I recommend something with this
Yeah,
new channel?
yeah.
Because this could be a huge blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Get content ready where you know for a fact that you have things that are aligned, where you know for a fact that you're going to be consistently dropping content on this new channel.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you hit early with consistent content on a new channel, it might blow up bigger even than your original channel.
Yeah.
If the consistency is everything though with YouTube
Yeah.
for podcasts and all that stuff.
Okay. That's good information to have.
Yeah.
Everything is a blessing in disguise. Everything happens for a reason.
That's right. Nah,
Mostly for us to laugh at your feelings today, but ultimately for your success, which you'll be fine.
Yeah. Nah, hey man, this has been a phenomenal episode.
Hey,
This has been a
you said that good.
Hey, what can I say?
Phenomenal.
This has been a phenomenal episode. What y'all got coming up? What's y'all socials? Where they can find you at? Let the people know.
Okay. I'm at Von Decarlo. VonDecarlo. And I have a monthly at the Comedy Store, Belly Room. And our next show is July 31st. I don't know when this comes out. But if you follow me on social media at Von Decarlo, I post all the shows that I'm doing. I have a bunch of other shows coming up as well.
This coming out next.
And I have some
next
headlining
week.
dates coming up. Yeah. But next week, I want to promote the Belly Room show is new. I'm doing it with Maryland Rice Scub,
Nice.
very
Love
funny
her.
comedian. Yeah, we met in Australia and we decided we wanted to do a show together. We did a festival over there.
She's so fun.
Yeah, she is.
That's my girl. We clicked like right away, and this is our second show, so we're just getting started. So I would love for people to come out and support.
Yeah.
July 31st. It's a Monday, so come on out.
Pull up. I might pull up. Monday.
Yeah,
I don't be doing
please
shit on
do.
Mondays.
Heck yeah.
What you got?
Jeremiah Stand Up on social media. You can check out the show that we were mentioning on YouTube called Stand Up on the Spot. We do episodes every other week on YouTube and a bunch of clips on socials and stuff like that. And my podcast, Scissor Bros. Check that out. And I drop a bunch of stand-up clips and all that stuff. And you can get tickets. See me on tour, JeremiahWatkins.com. I'm coming up in Fort Worth and Dallas, Texas, Bakersfield, California, Tacoma, Washington, Winnipeg, and more. Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Hey, man. Thank y'all for pulling up. Thank y'all for not flaking.
Of course.
Next time you have me, I ain't coming. And I'm going to tell you 15 minutes before it's time to start.
The disrespect. Hey, man, it's your man, Justin Hines. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, share the clips. And, yeah, if anybody, you can find me at Justin Hires. And if anybody was offended by anything that we said today, just remember one thing. Fuck your feelings.
Want me down, I get it. Hate that I keep winning. Stab my back.